Today on the Insanity SMP, I'll be building more of your guys' ideas and fighting the weather. You'll see more on that later. So yeah, let's see how this goes. So yeah, for the last few days, I've been upgrading my base and using some of your guys' ideas to make it the best it could ever be. And you guys know, I'm not stopping yet, so make sure to comment down below what I should build in the next video. And it looks like I found exactly what we're going to be building in today's video. Well, except what I'm building will be 10 times larger. And you know exactly where I went, to the sand bowl. So I crafted a bunch of sandstone and put it in a furnace so I can get some smooth sandstone. After waiting there for a bit, it was finally done. Now for this build, we're gonna need concrete, and the only way to make concrete is to have gravel and sand. So I need to go ahead and collect some gravel. Now this might take a minute, considering that I dug all the gravel underwater. After a long process of digging, I finally got enough gravel for my project. This was gonna look so good, and I can't wait to see the final results. Now it was time to collect some flowers for some dye. So now that I got enough flowers, I need some bone meal, but luckily in my last video, I had some extra bone meal because I accidentally made way too much. Now you may be wondering, why do I need bone meal? So basically, if you use bone meal on these large red flowers, it basically duplicates, that way I can make enough red dye. And done. That is all the red dye that I'm gonna need for this project. I probably won't need all of it, but just in case, I made some extra. Now that I got the gravel, the sand, and the red dye, it was time to craft the concrete. And I was gonna need a bit of white concrete as well. I took all the resources for this build and I brought it to my new base, since the build will be closer to my new base than my old one. Yeah, in my last video, I built this awesome base and it looks so cool. And if you haven't seen that video yet, you should definitely watch it. Anyways, here's everything that I need for that project. As you can tell from the beginning of the video, this project will actually be a mushroom, and I know a perfect place to put it at. Now it was time to turn this concrete powder into actual concrete. Luckily I live right next to water, so this shouldn't be too hard. And now I got all the concrete that I need. It's time to build this mushroom. I started out with a foundation, so I know exactly where to build. It was looking nice, and now it was time to add some white spots, but first I need to turn the white concrete powder into concrete as well. So now it was time to head straight to the waters and start mining all over again. I didn't really need much white concrete, but I still made a decent amount. But now it's time to decorate these mushrooms. When I was building this mushroom, I ran into a zombie, which had a carrot, and that kind of reminded me of something. Right where these mushrooms are being built, there used to be a carrot which got destroyed, so now it's time to rebuild that carrot. Make sure to stick around in the video to see that. But for now, let's finish decorating these mushrooms. And they were looking nice. They were decorated very well. My base is getting better and better each day. And it's mainly because of your guys' ideas. So this spot kind of looks empty. And you remember that zombie with a carrot? Well, I'm actually going to build that carrot right here. So let's get right into it. I placed the carrot that the zombie dropped. And I placed a sign for the commenter that had this original idea. Sorry, French turtle, for kind of destroying it the first time. Anyways, I made it 10 times larger, so it doesn't matter, and it actually looks pretty good. So I was sneaking around Pepsi's base when I found this, which gave me an idea to fight the Wither once again. So it was time to visit the Nether once again, and actually get the resources for this. When I got to the Nether, I went straight to the fortress, because that's what I'm gonna need, is actually Wither skulls. And the only place you can find Withers at is at a Nether fortress, so you know exactly what I had to do. Luckily, my sword got looting like 6, so I think this wouldn't be a long process. After getting all the Wither heads, it was time to collect the soul sand so I can finally fight the Wither. But not 1, not 2, but 3 Withers, because 1 Wither would just be too boring. They were going crazy, and I knew I had to get ready for a fight, because taking down 3 Withers is probably one of the hardest things I've ever done on this SMP. I finally got one very weak, and I decided to go for the final attack. That's 1 out of 2 Withers that I've actually beaten. Now it was time to collect that Nether slot. But that's when this happened. Yeah, that's when I realized that I made a huge mistake fighting these Withers. Now all my tools have cursive vanishing, so I had to grab myself a weaker set, and you know what, that made this battle 10 times harder. But luckily, I had some faith in me, and I knew I could do it. These Withers weren't no normal Withers, they were actually smart. They went so high up that we went to a point where there was nothing but snow, which they used to hide in. This made it very hard to see where the Wither was, and I ended up losing this 1 Wither. And if I'm being honest, I never end up finding where this Wither actually went. So yeah, that's 2 out of 3 Withers, except this one's probably going rogue somewhere out there. But luckily I did know where the 3rd Wither was, so I won't have to worry about another Wither going rogue on the SMP. I was hitting so much combo attacks, and I almost won. Except, the Wither got a few good hits on me, and I was actually about to die, so I ran to get cover. Doing so, I accidentally dropped my sword. But at the moment, that didn't matter because I needed to take cover and actually heal. But knowing my luck, somehow a skeleton managed to grab my sword. Yeah, this is probably more scary than actually the Wither himself. So I killed the skeleton with my hand, and the skeleton didn't drop my sword, leading me straight to death. I was now panicked. I lost so many lives due to this Wither. Not only is my luck so terrible that a skeleton stole my sword and never gave it back, but I lost a Wither and he's out there flying somewhere. So this isn't even the last Wither. So I grabbed one of my hacker kits and I went straight. And no, I do not hack. I actually stole this hacker kit from another SMP member. And if you want to know who that hacker is, click this video in the top right corner of the screen. Anyways, I was all in. I was ready to kill this Wither. Nothing could stop me. At this point, I was unstoppable and I was tired of the bad luck. I was so confident that I was going to win this that I actually used my hand to kill the Wither. And this time I backed up because, you know, I learned from my mistakes. Trust me, I'm not doing that again. But this was probably one of my biggest achievements. So yeah, fighting 3 Withers was probably a bad idea, but I somehow managed to actually do it. Well, there's one problem. There's still one out there.